Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, one half of the Steve and Mike Show. www.steveandmikeshow.com is up and running, where you can hear such shows as you're about to hear tonight. This is another edition of On the Mike and Mike, and I am pleased to have on adult star, the lovely, the talented, the beautiful Miss Annabelle Rogers. Annabelle, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
You are very welcome. I'll be honest with you. I dig your work. I dig what you're about, and I'm happy to give you the platform to tell your story. So really, it's an absolute pleasure.
Yay! Well, thank you. I'm beyond flattered to hear that.
That's no problem. First and foremost, I'm just going to go out here and just say this. Being a Third Eye Blind fan, I'm talking about Blue. I'm talking about Never Let You Go. I did see that video of you on Twitter just strutting your stuff. It's a little Third Eye Blind, a little Never Let You Go.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
It's what?
I was about to say, that's one of my jams from back in the day. So as soon as I saw that, Looking As Only As You Can Look, that song always stuck out, man. I love that song.
It's an amazing song.
It is. And I'll be honest with you, like around that time with the Semi-Charmed Life and then that one, Jumper, that was a big time for Third Eye Blind, so I appreciated that. Hey, you brought
Bringing it back.
It did. I mean, that brings out the pop culture nerd in all of us, so I dug that. I just had to point that out. I thought that was very cool.
Well, I'm glad you liked.
You're very welcome. So let's start from the beginning with you first and foremost. Talk about how you got involved in the adult entertainment industry, how you got into it, what made you want to get into it?
At the time, I was currently living in Germany, working as an au pair. And then I ended up meeting a German man there, and we got married. And then I moved to Germany to live with him. And living in Germany, it was really hard for me to get a job without being fluent in German. So I was searching a lot for online jobs and jobs that I could maybe do from home or not have to be fluent in German. And I kind of came across articles about camming and couples that cam. And it was sort of this article with people and like wearing masks in the article. Like it was like all these couples wearing masks and camming. So I was like, okay, why don't I try that? I can wear a mask. It wouldn't hurt. So I originally started, I signed up for Chatterbait, and that is the site I started on. And I wore a really dorky like masquerade mask for like the first few camming sessions, but it got really sweaty wearing the mask the whole time and really itchy, and I didn't like it. So then from there I realized I liked camming that much that I wanted to kind of unmask myself, and from there fans or members on Chatterbait were asking me if I had Snapchat, if I had Twitter, what my email was, if I sold panties, if I made custom videos. So gradually, it was kind of all the members from the camming site that introduced me to more avenues of the adult industry. And actually, while I was camming, I was also studying for real estate to get my real estate license. But I've kind of put real estate to the side because I realized how much I love the adult industry, and I have further integrated into it and gotten a little better. But when I first jumped into it, I knew absolutely nothing. So.
Okay, well, I got to say this to you, and I'm going to ask because that's kind of interesting that you brought up real estate. Is that something, like, I guess, after the adult industry you would want to go back into afterwards when everything's all said and done?
Yeah, maybe, or even doing it on the side. Like, I do like investments, and I am interested in that. But for right now, my job is keeping me super duper busy. So I'm putting all my time and energy into that.
Well, of course. I mean, you're a hot commodity. You're doing your things, well, that's the thing about you. I'm going to say this right now because my parents and grandparents are two of my biggest influences, right? And two of the biggest female influences in my life are my mother and my grandmother, God rest her soul. And I've always believed, and that's true, and I truly mean this, and this applies to you as well, because the three key elements that make up women are beauty, strength, and dominance. That's what make them the work of art. And I apply and adhere you to this, Miss Annabelle. So I got to say, you're doing your thing.
Well, thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Of course. Well, I look at it like this, too, because also, for first and foremost, like I see you, and whether it be the modeling side of things, like you mentioned, camming, and, the adult industry as a whole, we got all beautiful women, all different shapes and sizes. I hate the whole shaming factor that comes upon it, however you want to define it. And, women just, it doesn't really matter what you are, what your size, or even your orientation, or whatever you do in life. Women are beautiful, and that's how I see it. And I also look at you, because you got that, I'm going to say, like, no, you got that voluptuosity factor, you got that exuberance, you got that vibrance about you, so you add a lot to what you're doing and how you hone your craft.
Well, thank you. You're making me blush right now. Thank you.
Well, that's the truth. Well, Here's the one common misconception that I always take about this is because, I love interviewing people. I love giving people the platform like we're doing here, Annabelle, for people to tell their story, whatever genre, whatever art form you do, because I'm going to use it, the adult industry, as an art form, the lovemaking, the passion, and even behind the scenes that goes into to make said scene, so to speak. So there's a lot of factors that a lot of people don't realize they go into it besides, oh, here's a scene, here's some sex and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot that actually goes into it.
Absolutely, there is tons that goes into it, and even with the wardrobes and makeup, and there's a lot of time and effort that does go into it. And thank you for acknowledging that it is an art, and our art, people just happen to masturbate to it. But people masturbate to music videos and movies, like they masturbate to other art too, but we're purposely making it for people to enjoy sexually. But it's a really great industry because it embraces people from all different backgrounds and from everywhere. Even if a girl wanted to be a model, but she's not tall enough to be a model, she can be a model in the adult entertainment industry. So.
Well, and also, I like the way you segue there because, yes, people do masturbate to videos. Prime example, Tawny Katane, Whitesnake, Here I Go Again on My Own. I mean, that's a beautiful video. I mean, Tawny Katane on top of a car, hello. So, yes, there's a lot in, obviously, movies like hell. There's Mr. Skin for all these years. Mr. Skin has a lot of the scenes like that. So, exactly, it's just, but yeah, I'm glad that you segued to that because there's a lot of ways you can look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the last thing I actually add to that, it's kind of like, all right, now I'm going to take you back with this. It's kind of like Bob Ross, God rest his soul, The Joy of Painting. That man, he was so passionate about what he did. He starts painting like a little speck, and at the end of the show, you got like a forest, you got rivers, you got a waterfall, you got skies, you got beautiful things. So if a man like that, with his Jufro, can take everything so seriously, with the art of painting and what you do in your art, I mean, come on now. Let's all enjoy our passions. Yes,
no, I definitely agree with that.
I know that may be a weird analogy, but that kind of correlated to what we were talking about.
I like it. No, I definitely agree.
Okay, cool. Now with you, I gotta say this. I've seen a lot of your films, and first and foremost, I gotta say this. I've seen a lot of the stuff you've done with Gwen Adore. You two are a great dynamic duo, and I gotta say this. Merry Christmas, because my God, I've seen the Christmas stuff that you do. That was a hell of a shoot. I enjoyed the candy cane and what you guys did there. I have to talk about that and just ask you what it was like working with Gwen, because you guys did your thing in that.
I absolutely love Gwen. Well, I have a soft spot for redheads. If you're a redhead, I'm probably ultimately attracted to you. So, but she has such a great personality, and she's so easygoing. She's a nice Canadian, plus she has gorgeous curves. So it was so much fun working with Gwen. She's so easygoing and kind, but also gives her feedback, and she has a really great work ethic, and she's highly intelligent. She does a lot. She has her blogs, and she does a lot of sex toy reviews and educates people about safe sex toys and all this stuff. So it's really fun working with her. And I actually was just DMing her last night, and she'll probably be coming to visit me, and we'll be shooting again. So.
Awesome. Well, I want to see the two of you do your thing. And also, I'm just got to say this, and just to reiterate on your point there, Annabelle, Gwen is absolutely a stunning, beautiful. And like you mentioned, the curves and everything that she's about, I dig it. And you see, that's the thing with me. I don't know if it's just me or just how I am. Like, to be honest with you, growing up and as a male, and I'll say this to you, I guess growing up, the girls that I've always had a soft spot in my heart for this. Like I said, I love women. I mentioned my mom and mother and my grandma being my big influences. But I will say, I guess growing up, I've always noticed, like, the curvier girls. I've always appreciated the curves and just, like, the voluptuosity factor, as we stated. So I don't know. I've always kind of like had a soft spot for like the curvy girls. So y'all are doing your thing.
Well, you're definitely not the only one with that.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the other thing that I think that's great about the adult industry. You get a lot of different people. Like, I mean, we're all made up differently. We all have our genetic makeups, and we all like different things. That's what makes us as people very unique. So whether it be a different category in the adult entertainment industry, like BBWs, lesbians, what have you, we all like a little different things, and that's what makes us unique as people.
Yeah, there is really something for everyone. And even me being in this industry not for so long, but from what I've seen in my experience in the industry, there's so many people that like so many different things. And there's enough people in the industry for us all to cater to people's certain fetishes and kinks and whatever it may be. Or it's really exciting and really cool that we're able to do that little public service. And I mean, it's really cool meeting all the different people and seeing all the different models in the industry and people who are in this. I mean, it's really cool.
Well, I think what also makes it too, like, like you have like for sports, like for instance, I'll use wrestling as an example. WWE has their WrestleMania, that's their Super Bowl. The Stanley Cups, like you guys have the AVN Awards, you have all these BBW award shows. You have a lot of award shows that also help in all these conventions that help you get to meet the fans, you get to be nominated for such great awards. So that also helps too because it shows the pageantry, the glitz, the glamour of all you ladies. So that also helps, and it's also a lot of perks that go into that.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps show off. And I mean, this job can be a little bit isolating if you're not living in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or anything. So the fact that pretty much everyone from around the world is able to come together and network um, a lot during the year is really cool. And there are so many different awards for everyone to be acknowledged for. And I mean, before pretty much the one place that everyone in the industry networks on is Twitter. We're all seeing everyone's porn and trailers and nudes on Twitter. So it's really fun being able to meet those people in person and putting a face and personality to their Twitter name.
One other thing I have to mention is, speaking of that, because yes, the big following that the adult industry has on Twitter. I know Instagram is a little bit more, yeah, because I know a lot of people's accounts have gotten taken down in the adult industry for like certain photos and stuff. But yeah, I think Twitter, the market for that, like I said, Carla Lane, perfect example. I've seen her stuff for Shape of Beauty. I've seen your stuff. I see a lot of adult entertainment just putting trailers out there for their many vids, which we'll get into a second here, Annabelle. But yeah, I get to see a lot of great teasers, and it makes you wanting more. So you're giving people what they want.
Yeah, right now Twitter is really the only safe place that or safe social media platform that adult entertainers have. But even that is being threatened a little bit with they changed their policy that you can't show any sperm on Twitter now. So it's kind of a hit or a miss. People are debating whether that can only be in the profile picture or the header. So it might slowly happen. It could happen that we no longer have Twitter anymore. And then adult entertainers really have nowhere to show their stuff, which, I mean, on social media, it's lots of half-naked girls anyway, or half-naked people. So hopefully they don't take Twitter away, but for right now, we'll enjoy it as much as we can.
Well, I'm actually glad because you just segued once again. I just wanted to add to your point there. Because here's the thing that's interesting about it. Like, you guys and gals can put up your photos, so to speak. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of that material that you guys post are not as bad as, like, some other people with their verbiage or what they post. So, like, that always puzzles me just to see, like, some of the guidelines that you can and cannot do on social media. It's kind of, it's funny.
Yeah, it's really, it's actual discrimination. I mean, we're pretty much, no one likes us too much. So, people are constantly reporting our accounts and stuff. But with that being said, there's so many half-naked girls that are selling their fitness tips and all this stuff, which is totally fine. Mm-hmm. They could totally do that. But I know adult entertainers that they create an account and they just post a picture of their dog and then their account gets suspended. I've had pictures taken down of just my face. Granted, the caption says something about, like, check out my OnlyFans or something. So I haven't been doing that, but I can't do hashtags. I can't do anything. I pretty much just have to pretend like I don't do adult entertainment and I can't post anything inappropriate. I can't even do hashtag single, hashtag curvy. It's all, you have to pretend like you're just a normal person, but it's our business account at the end of the day, and everyone else has the right to promote their business and everything. And it's not even like we have Pornhub in our bio link or anything. We're just trying to get people to follow us.
Okay, I'm going to add to that, since you did also use the keyword of normal, because I look at it like this. Whatever you do, whatever endeavor, whatever job you do, adult entertainer, podcaster, whatever, everybody does what they do to make money, to, provide for their families. And I got to say this. All you ladies, guys, and gals in the adult entertainment industry are normal people. You're doing what you do. You're honing your craft, and you are wonderful for what you do. So like I said, there's good and bad in everything, but I think what you guys are doing, just keep doing what you're doing. I truly wish you nothing but the best going forward. I just want to continue to see you shine.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we all in the industry appreciate your support and kind words, and I'm so glad that you understand.
Well, you know what it is too. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, my curiosity like peaked early for like the adult stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The first time I ever saw like adult related thing was probably like 12, which is about right because you're going into your teens, and us teen boys, we hit puberty, and then just we're like the Energizer Bunny. We just keep going and going and going, just to see our whatever we want to get our hands on. So I mean, my interest peaked, and obviously you see what you see, and then as you get older you start to appreciate and realize what gets into it. So I guess it's kind of like you're getting wiser for what you're into or what you started seeing as like a child, but as you become an adult you start to understand it. It all comes full circle, if that makes any sense. And I know that might be another weird analogy.
No, it all definitely makes sense. I mean, a lot of us viewed porn at a very, very young age. I think the first time I was too scared to visit a real porn site when I was younger, so I would go to YouTube and like put in lesbians kissing, or they sometimes had videos of like rubbing over panties or something like that. So that's how I started. And I think I was like 14. But it definitely is. We all have sexual interests. Like, it's the most common human thing. It's very, very natural. I mean, we all have this sexual hunger that we need to feed, and it's also really fun finding out who we are sexually. Whether we're submissive, dominant, both, what we're into. It is part of who we are at the end of the day. So it's very healthy and to explore that, and porn is a really great way to explore that. And it doesn't even have to stop if you get a partner or anything. You can explore porn together. It can be a really cool and healthy thing to digest. However, I don't agree with how easily accessible porn is to younger viewers with the whole, yes, I'm 18, and you click and you do that, but it's kind of hard going backwards from that.
Very true, and I'll be honest with you. Okay, so you see, you actually brought up something very interesting here, and I just want to note on one of your keywords there. So you talk about going on YouTube and like lesbians kissing, which is natural. So you type in keywords and boom, there's a video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's funny because like the first time, and it's coming back to me now as we're talking about this, the first time like website I ever like came across, and I don't even know if it's still in existence to this day, was a site called girlshuntinggirls.com, which was just two girls in like a van, and they would pick up like a girl, and then it would go right into the scene, where they had sex. And I'm like, it's just like the stuff that like you find on the internet. Like, I don't even remember how I even got into that, but boom, there it was. And then that's, I guess, what sparked my interest as like a 13, 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, your sexual awakening.
Exactly. So I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, all right, this is cool. And then obviously, you get older now. There's like you mentioned, the Pornhubs, the X-Hamsters, the X-Videos. There's all these sites out there for everybody to have access to. So I mean, expanding your sexual horizons, if you will. So I definitely dig what you're saying there. And I think the other thing I can add to that is, my God, I mean, you're talking about like, all right, now I'm going to say this to you because a lot role play. I've noticed you've done a lot of role play stuff, whether you're like a mom, you're like the sister, you're like a babysitter, you're dressing like a therapist, you're doing a lot of stuff. And I got to say, the role play videos I've seen have always been fun, and you do a great job in the storytelling and just the fun aspect that those scenes provide.
Thank you. Yeah, I love role play videos. I mean, most of those videos are custom videos, but for me personally, when I watch porn, I don't like when no one's talking or communicating, when people are just moaning and no one's saying anything. So I like watching porn with lots of communication and, telling you when to come, telling you, I just like when people talk and dirty talk, and I like a little plot and stuff like that. So I kind of like bringing the dirty talk to my videos, and I think people really reciprocate to that because I do talk a lot in most of my videos. I do have some softcore videos where I'm just looking pretty, but mostly with my role play videos, I like to really get in the role and I like to start off very innocent and sweet and then make it like really filthy and fucked up at the end a little bit.
Well, first and foremost, you talk about softcore looking pretty. I'm going to add to that. You're looking as only as you can look. That's what you're looking like. You lovely human being. You're welcome. But, all right. And now, see, I'm going to take it back to music for a second, because we started off with that Third Eye Blind, because you already started me off with that, and I thank you for that. But I'm going to quote two of the greatest artists of all time, and God rest their souls. First and foremost, number one, Marvin Gaye. When I get that feeling, I need sexual healing. And number two, you were talking about sex. I want your sex, little George Michael. Sex is natural, sex is good, and everybody does it, but everybody should. So you applied a lot when you were discussing there. Had to add that. So
Definitely.
yes. So I think also I can add to you, first and foremost, like I've seen, like we talked about the role play stuff. You and Mia is another one because I've seen you work with Mia, whether you're in a bath or you guys are on a beach. You guys are doing your thing. I think that's another one you have a great dynamic with. I love Mia. She's a beautiful girl. Can you talk about working with Miss Mia?
Yeah, her and I originally met in a Snapchat model group type of thing where we would shout each other out before. And this is originally when we were both living in the Midwest, in the Minnesota area. So we both realized in the Snapchat group, like, hey, we're both in the same state right now. So we are like, let's work together. And before that, we were kind of talking on Snapchat every day because we would, again, shout each other out and we were in the group. So she came over. She is so easygoing. And I love that she is like perfect doll tits and she has both of her nipples pierced. What a really cool. But everyone loves me being really dominant, her more submissive. And she's naturally very, very submissive. She's a very kinky little girl, which I absolutely love. I love working with people that love sex and are perverted and do enjoy what they do. So working with her is an absolute delight because she definitely loves being the submissive one. And I like dominating her and being her mommy and all those things. And she's very hot and she is an amazing performer and an absolute delight.
I gotta say this because whether you're doing that with her or whether you're dressing like a Celtic, looking in your Celtic gear, looking beautiful as always with even Christmas stuff like we mentioned, looking like a therapist, doing the mommy role in the bath, what have you, I think each and every scene you go into, and I know you've done some interracial scenes as well, and this will apply and correlate to what I'm about to say, any scene that you do, you always put your heart and your soul into it, and you have fun, and you give the viewer what they want. And like I said, just keep doing what you're doing just because you're succeeding.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you so much. You are filling me up with so many positive feelings right now.
Well, that's the thing. And here's the one common misconception, and we'll just go back to this because we were talking about whatever endeavors people do. Like, here's the thing. Like, I give, with my listeners, I love giving people the platform to tell their story. I'll reiterate that and repetition that till the end of time. So I give a lot of people variety here, and I have people like yourself on because, we get to talk the adult industry and, talk it like we're serious right now. We're bringing up a lot of points in the art form that it is as a whole. The one common misconception is, and I have my buddy, I'm not going to mention his name because I'm still friends with him to this day. We've known each other since like middle school, high school. This is how far this guy and I go back. He's my dude and I love him. But the common thing when I started getting to podcasts and I started having like people like yourself in the adult industry or what have you in there, he goes, how does that work? I'm like, what do you mean, how does that work? How do you interview someone who's in the adult industry? Well, exactly like you do, with the professionalism, respect that they do, have people tell their story, how they apply their craft. It's a job just like anything else if you look at it actually and analyze, dissect, and decipher it. So there's really nothing wrong with it. And I think a lot of people can take that away from what we're doing here tonight.
Yeah, no, and I definitely thank you for saying that. It's just music to my ears that people just acknowledge that we are humans and we're not these horny people looking out to fuck people constantly, and we're constantly walking around our house either naked or in lingerie, sucking on lollipops or whatever people think porn stars do. But at the end of the day, we're really people. And now that so many adult entertainers are able to work from home, there's a lot of people that do this like on the side, especially they have a vanilla job and they do this. So I thank you. You're helping with the stigma of sex work and adult entertainment industry and, humanizing us, which I greatly appreciate. And thank you so much for giving me your platform to do that. And even bringing awareness to your friends and listeners.
Of course. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, as guys, we like to hear people talk about the adult industry, but here's the thing, there's also substance that goes with it. Because a lot of people, like for example, like you were talking about, getting started living in Germany and then, the chatterbaits, and some people get it onto like that, or some people just do cam and then boom, here we are. Some people do modeling and then boom, they go. There's a lot of different ways that people get into something, so it's always interesting to hear said person tell their story about, because there's a lot of different variations of how people get into stuff, so it's always very rewarding to do that.
Yeah, no, there's so many fun stories learning about how people started and gradually got into it. There's kind of a joke that if you ever went if you ever played around on Omegle or any of those sites, you're probably a cam girl now.
Well, I gotta say this to you first and foremost, and I was telling you this before we got on air here. I did see on your thing, and I believe I did vote for you not too long ago because I just want to make sure I got the link right, and I did. Super Silly Contest, Many Vids Awards. How does that feel?
Yay, really good. It's fun. Little Winning Wednesday is a contest that Many Vids has every Wednesday, and then they also have monthly contests. But it's fun.
And I think that's, first of all, and personally, I like the awards stuff just because, like I mentioned, whether it be AVN, BBW award shows or awards like we mentioned here, Many Vids. And you know what's interesting, too, because I've had people in the UK on, I love the international flavor, too, because you get to see a lot of the international adult stars travel to the US and vice versa, because it gives you, different experiences of traveling and, whatnot to the overall genre that is the adult industry. But I gotta say, they have some awards over there in the UK. We have what we do here, Many Vids, so it's nice to see the spotlight and platform. And firstly, Super Silly Contest, huh? Would you say you're kind of like a little silly, little goofy, little quirky type of deal?
I am definitely very silly, very quirky. I don't take myself too seriously at all. I'm very sarcastic. I have very dark, dry humor. I am definitely very silly. Even back in the day, I was actually thinking about being a stand-up comedian. Way back when I was trying to figure out what I was doing with my life. And I even took some improv stand-up comedian classes type of thing, but it's so hard becoming a stand-up comedian. It's really, really hard. So I did not have the passion to do that and not have the hard work. It's really, really hard, especially if you're a female. So I wasn't ready for that at my age. But I've actually been thinking maybe down the road I can bring sex work to stand-up comedy or something.
All right, beautiful that you said that, because I had on adult star Rebecca Bardot, who's been doing this for like 20 years, right? A veteran. She has also done stand-up, so I hope that happens with you. I mean, you could just start off by saying, hey, two girls walk into a bar, and then just take it from there. I don't even know. But
absolutely. I even have so many funny stories from this job and stuff, and it's stuff that nobody really hears. Most girls, they always talk about stand-up comedy, their annoying husband, their pregnant period jokes, or their one-night stand. So I even know strippers that are stand-up comedians and stuff. So I think it's a really great way to even help end the stigma, where they realize girls can do this and be funny and be smart and be presentable and a part of society. So I think it's really cool. I love stand-up comedians a lot. I go to lots of shows.
Now, here's the thing. Whether it be stand-up comedian, another prime example I've seen, like, over the years, like Ginger Lynn, who did the adult entertainment industry. She started in, like, the mid-'80s, and then she transitioned to, like, actual films. Like she was in, The Devil's Rejects, American Bandcamp, all that stuff, American Pie Bandcamp. Sorry, but, I mean, like, you could see people transition to mainstream. Like, it does happen, and a lot of people don't even realize that. So, I mean...
Yeah, even Sasha Grey, she transitioned into mainstream recently,
Yeah, so I mean that's another misconception that we're pointing out. Like, a lot of people, like, they can do mainstream, even go from adult industry to mainstream, or even mainstream to adult industry. Like, those factors do occur in your line of work.
Yeah, and you even see stand-up comedians now go having little appearances in mainstream movies now too. So it's kind of exciting to see that, because you do have to memorize. It's kind of similar, except the sets are slightly different. There's more nudity on one set than the other, but at the end of the day, it's the movie business, the fantasy business. So.
Exactly, and I gotta say this, and I'm gonna tie this in with the word fantasy, and I'm not talking about Mariah Carey right now. I'm in heaven with my boyfriend. I'll be here all day. Me and Mariah go back like House of Fire, ODB, rest in peace. But nah, man, when you talk about fantasy, I mean, I think you're fulfilling a lot of fantasies, and like I just said before and earlier, just keep doing what you're doing and keep shining.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love fulfilling fantasies. I love hearing about people's fantasies, and I am extremely open-minded, and it's really fun hearing about things, and especially getting such positive feedback. It's extremely exciting.
Well, I gotta say this to you. I think, actually, first and foremost, a couple final things, and I'm gonna say this to you right now. It's been a blast talking to you tonight, Annabelle, and anytime you want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome to.
You as well. Well, I am open to come back whenever your heart desires. So just keep me updated when you want me back.
Please, it's my pleasure. Like I said, I always enjoyed doing this, so it's you definitely will be back. We'll find some stuff. Like I could tell, you're a consummate pro, and like I said, it's a pleasure. But I have to say this to you, as someone who's in the adult industry, do you have any advice for any, in your case, any gal that wants to pursue a career in the adult entertainment industry? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, the advice if you are thinking about getting into the adult entertainment industry is really make sure it's something you want to do, because um, once you are naked on the internet, it will be there forever. Even if you think no one is going to see it, you think your cam shows won't be that important, no one will record them, people will find you. Now, granted, there are ways to hide your face. Maybe if you have tattoos, hide your tattoos. But still, people recognize bedrooms. People recognize, I mean, everyone has a little freckle or a little something somewhere that kind of gives them away a little bit. But you have to be okay with your grandma knowing what you do. You have to be okay with everyone in your hometown finding out, because that's what will definitely happen. And everyone in the entertainment industry, in the adult entertainment industry, has been through it. And there's lots of great ways of support, but it's a very, very hard thing. So just make sure that that is something that you are mentally okay to do. And to know one thing, that it is not easy money at all. Everyone has boobs. Everyone has something they're able to give away, but you have to have the work ethic behind it, and you have to have the personality and the drive to keep going and to keep pumping out content. So you can't just be hot. You have to have a little bit more to it. And I mean, you have to be good at graphic design, coding. There's so many more things that go into the entertainment industry. You, at the end of the day, you are an entrepreneur, and this is a business, and you should treat it as such. Don't get into the entertainment industry because you want lots of money and you want to get famous really fast. It could happen, but likeliness is it's probably not going to happen that fast. And again, the big thing is being okay with every single person in the world knowing what you will do. Even if you know your grandpa and grandma doesn't watch Pornhub or whatever, they're gonna find it. People are gonna send it to them. It's just what happens with the internet. So make sure you are mentally okay with doing that, and even having at least one person you can have as a support system, because it can be very lonely.
First and foremost, beautifully said. And second of all, a lot of validity to what you just said. So I appreciate you giving that advice out there. And I like to inspire and encourage with these shows. And I think you did that with your sentiments, Miss Rogers.
Yay, well, thank you. I'm glad. Mission accomplished.
All right, one other thing I have to mention, and I'm going to have you promote your upcoming event, social media, in 1 second here, but I got to say this to you. I also know the other films I forgot to mention. I know you've done some squirting films as well, and also the heels, man. I had to compliment you on your heels. You're out there looking at, as only as you can look in your high heels, doing your thing. I had to give you some praise on that as well.
Thank you. Yes, I love high heels. So, and lots of amazing fans and members have been spoiling me with lots of shoes lately. So I have so many more heels to model.
Okay. Like I'm saying, I just had to include that too. So like I said, everything is for everybody. I know you've done role playing. I mentioned the squirting films there. There's a lot that goes into what you do, and as you could do as only as you can do. So Annabelle Rogers, I gotta just say this before we do close out. Once more, thank you, because I truly meant that with the utmost sincerity and respect. And second of all, let everybody know where they can find you, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media platform people can check you out at, and upcoming events, you can promote that as well. The floor is yours, Miss Rogers. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you to you first. You can follow me on Twitter. That's where all the very fun, naughty action happens, at the Annabelle, ANNABELLEXXX. And then you can also follow my free Snapchat, where you can be updated with my life and see daily free teasers. And you can add me on Snapchat at Annabelle Promo. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, which is the Annabelle Rogers. But I will mention in my Twitter bio, the link there, it has all my links. So if you go to my Twitter, click my Twitter link, which is all my links, it'll have every single place you can find me, all right there in my Twitter. So I highly recommend going to my Twitter, because it's very easy to find everything there. But otherwise, you can follow me on ManyVids now, which is AnnabelleRogers.manyvids.com. You can also find me on Pornhub. I believe you can just put in Annabelle Rogers and I should pop right up. So those are all the exciting places you can find me for now.
So I will have the links to everything up in there. I know it's on your Twitter, but I'll get you for Instagram and everything where everybody can check out the beautiful Miss Annabelle Rogers. And I also, two other things. Number one, I know I mentioned upcoming events. Any upcoming events that you like to plug as well?
Any upcoming events? I am not sure. I know nothing too exciting is coming up currently for me. I'm just making videos and doing that. I think all the exciting stuff will kind of come around more towards the holidays.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. Stay tuned. TBA for this one over here.
Yes.
And second of all, do you have any final words for your fans and your supporters, Miss Annabelle Rogers?
I just want to thank everyone for being so supportive, so pervy, and choosing to masturbate to me. I am always flattered that people decide to orgasm to me. It's really cool and really hard to think about. But no, at the end of the day, I really do appreciate everyone and their support. I couldn't do it without you guys at all. It would be nothing. And recently, I just moved into a bigger house in Florida. All my equipment has just been upgraded. So there's going to be lots of exciting stuff happening. I have tons of costumes that I haven't even worn yet. So things are getting bigger and more exciting, and I really can't wait. And thank you all for making it happen. I cannot express how thankful I am.
People, please follow Annabelle Rogers. The lovely, the beautiful Miss Annabelle Rogers. I can't top that, man. That was just so lovely and just beautifully said. So, Miss Annabelle Rogers, for Annabelle Rogers, my name is Mike Larkin. This concludes another edition of On the Mic with Mike. And once more, I got to say this to you. Annabelle, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute honor for me as well.
All right. So for Annabelle Rogers, my name is Mike Larkin. I will talk to you guys next time in the next edition of On the Mic with Mike. Have a great night, everyone.